Hi, I'm Jenny with Roots and Wings Furniture, and today I'm going to show you how to turn this old brown table into something beautiful and lovely with this gorgeous blue-gray paint color. Are you ready to get started? Let's do it. For today's project, I'm going to use Dixie Belle Chalk Mineral Paint, and I'm going to use Stormy Seas. This color is really pretty. You can see it's this beautiful bluish, grayish, a little bit of green. My client wants her table, this goes behind her couch, to match her living room a little bit better, so we're just going to paint it up and give it a fresh look for her. So what we're going to do first is just clean it off. It's not super shiny. There's nothing that needs repair or anything on this table. We're just going to give it a good cleaning. I'm going to use White Lightning, also from Dixie Belle. I mix it up with some water, just in a spray bottle. Keep it really simple. I'm going to spray it down. And then wipe it off with paper towel. You'd be surprised, even on a table that looks pretty clean, this stuff will really take off anything that's hiding. For a full supply list of everything you will need to create this awesome finish, check out the description below this video. See what I mean? It's kind of surprising what is on there sometimes. This does need a rinse coat, so I'm just going to get another bottle with just plain water, squirt it down again, wipe it off, and once it's all dry, we are ready to paint. All right, I'm using my Dixie Belle brush for this. I love the synthetic bristles, and it just really does give a really nice finish. So I am going to just dip it in water real quick though before we start, get it a little bit damp, and then dry it off on this paper towel. And just that little bit of dampness helps the paint move over the surface. Nice and smooth. I like to do the top of a piece first, so I can really concentrate on getting a nice smooth finish. And then from there, move on to each of the sides and all the details along the bottom. I almost always start with the top of a piece first. Okay, there we go. Now while the top dries, we'll move along the bottom. That way too, we can watch for any drips that might happen along the edge of the piece, and we'll just get it all nice and smooth and let this top dry. This table has the coolest center here, so we're just gonna get right underneath. Some spindly legs like this, I like to kind of take my brush back and forth sideways. It helps get into all the little details. And then you can come up and smooth it out. Okay, our table is dry, and it did need a little bit of touch up after the first coat, so it kind of got 1.5 coats, I would say. Gorgeous color. I love this color. Again, this is Stormy Seas. I am going to do some distressing, and I'm going to do it a little bit in a different way. I'm actually going to use the Dixie Belle finishing pad. It looks like this. There's a couple ways you can use this. When it's dry, you can use it as a buffing pad. So it's kind of nice in case you had any spots that weren't perfectly smooth. You can just use it to kind of buff out the paint, smooth it out. It's not scratching through the surface, but it's just smoothing it out where you may need a little bit of extra smoothness. So that's one way you can use the finishing pad. We are going to use it though today to do some wet distressing. So I want to do some distressing along the edges, not a ton, just a little bit to kind of bring out the details on this piece. So all I'm going to do is dip the end of this in some water. doesn't need to be super wet. And grab a dry paper towel as well. Now you do need to do any wet distressing within about 24 hours of the paint drying. Otherwise the paint's going to cure and it's going to be too hard to do this. And actually, the sooner after it's dry, the better. It'll just come off easier. Now wet distressing is kind of different than regular distressing. You get a really nice, natural looking finish almost. It only comes up in certain places. I don't know if you can see that here, and then a little bit along the details. Again, my client didn't want this super distressed. I mean, you could really go crazy on a piece like this. She just wanted it a little bit though. So that is just what this is gonna do. And you just dry it off with a paper towel right behind it. Now, if your piece dried for more than 24 hours and you decide later that you want to distress it, you can also just grab a little bit of sandpaper, something like 120 grit sandpaper, and go over the edges in the exact same way. It's just a little bit fun to do something kind of different, and it does give a little bit of a different look. Once the distressing is all done, I am going to seal this with satin clear coat and the Dixie Belle mini brush. The clear coat is really nice and thick, so I'm just going to give it a stir to make sure it's well mixed. Then I'm going to apply the clear coat. Trick with any top coat is to make sure you get enough on the piece, especially on these big flat surfaces. Make sure you get a lot on there. Distribute it evenly and then just go over it once to really level it out. And if you're using a nice brush, you should have it level without very many brush strokes. Okay, I'm going to finish this up, let it dry, and I will be back to show you the final product. Thanks so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out my website, rootsandwingsfurniture.com, for more painting tips and tricks and DIY. Also, subscribe to this channel so that you won't miss a thing. Click the button below.